Bitcoin. We have seen cryptography emerging from being an esoteric art used by spooks and spies into the foundation of our modern civil order, into the building blocks of cyberspace. And in particular, we have seen a spectacular emergence of the art of cryptography in supporting banking, secure transfer of wire, secure exchange and trade with stocks and financial instruments. Cryptography makes it happen. But this was not enough. If you followed the entire Crypto Academy class from the beginning, you know it moved from banking to payment. Cryptography allows you to contact a store online. They don't see you, don't know if you exist, and they send you the merchandise because they verify by the cryptographic protocol that the bits that you send them constitutes payment. And that's today's reality. So crypto has upgraded banking, upgraded payments into cyberspace. It's only natural to ask, can it upgrade money itself? And the motivation is very clear. Central bankers who issue and print the money that we use today don't have a very good record overall. There were so many dramatic recessions and depressions, and overnight millions of people were thrown into poverty. So it's only natural that the youth and the enterprising class of today will say, maybe we can do better. Maybe we can come up with some cryptographic protocol. And the same way that we did good for banking, we did good for payment, we will do good for money itself. We will unseat the central bankers. Very ambitious concept. And no one knows enough about the future development of cryptography to discount this proposition. But what we can do is look for analogies. And I would like to offer a sobering analogy. In the year 1950, Claude Shannon, the father of modern communication theory and computer science, 1950, he published an article with an ambitious plan, with an algorithm, with a methodology to program computers to unseat humans from being chess champions. The idea of a machine that will beat a human being. This original idea of 1950 has undergone decades of evolution and development and enhancement. And only almost half a century later, in 1997, IBM Deep Blue beat Kasparov, the human champion. Now in 2009, really 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto has published an article in which he proposed a system to generate money to replace the central bankers, to replace the printing press of sovereign countries. An algorithm, a protocol. In 2009, it was created. It's like the network god said, let there be Bitcoin. And there was Bitcoin. And the network god saw that Bitcoin was good and trading commences. Now, will this Bitcoin be a match to central bankers? If we take this analogy, in 2050, whatever will emerge out of Bitcoin might have a shot at replacing humans in managing and printing money. What we have right now is a very exciting first shot at the beginning of a long-term campaign, which is very exciting. But the proportion of time has to be maintained. Let us now see what are the principles, the fundamental principle of Bitcoin, and why it may serve as a foundation for a new world of money and finance. What is the fundamental principle that underlies this exciting proposition called Bitcoin? Many are hung up on the anonymity. It's anonymous and they cannot trace you. The anonymity is not essential to Bitcoin. In fact, you could use the Bitcoin protocol totally exposed, that all the traders are well known. It's not essential that it is anonymous. It's not essential that a payment cannot be reversed. It's not essential that you can do it for any minute resolution. What is essential, what is the underlying principle in Bitcoin, is the principle of majority rules. The idea of preventing an oppressive minority from taking control over a large majority of traders, in this case. The anger and the resentment towards central bankers and Wall Street and the financial edifices is based on the notion of they are a minority and they are an oppressive minority and they don't take into consideration what's good for all of us, the majority, the bottom. And Bitcoin came up with a cryptographic protocol designed to prevent any minority from colluding and taking over and defrauding and abusing the power of money. Whether they succeeded or not, we will check in the next session. But that is what they tried to do. Now, cryptography is very good at sharing power in a community. You could hide a secret such that every one of the community will have a key, and only if all keys are applied to this cryptographic box, the box can be opened and the secret can come out. So it's not outrageous to think that the cryptographic protocol will guarantee to the traders around the world that there is no hidden minority power that manipulates what's going on. The power of the network, it's the excitement of the day. That's what underlies the internet. That is what underlies social media, and we have seen in recent history that political regimes and dictatorship cannot defeat the power of the network. So why not try to come up with a protocol that will deny a minority the power to rule the majority? Now suppose that the Bitcoin designers have succeeded and it's foolproof and no minority can take over. The majority rules. Do we see a problem with this? With the complete rule of the majority without a possibility of minority taking over? Here is what we need to pay attention to. The inherent nature of money. Money, we like it to have a stable value over time, as we see here. But if for any reason there will be a slight appreciation, and suddenly money increases in value, what will the traders do? They will stop trading. They will hold back because they expect the money to appreciate, and tomorrow it will be worth more. So what happens if traders don't put money in the market? The money does appreciate. That's what's called a positive feedback. It will run up. What happens in the opposite direction? Suppose that there is a slight movement downhill, and some traders suddenly suspect that this currency, whatever the currency is, dollar, Bitcoin, euro, will lose money, will lose value. Then it's time to spend it, because tomorrow it will be worth less. So the market is flooded. What happens then? The value does go down. So the wishful thinking becomes a reality on the way up and on the way down. It's inherently unstable. That's the nature of money. When central bankers are in control, they have tools, they have means. They can stop a trade, like in the stock market. Cooling period. They can issue a different currency. They can do a variety of things because they are a controlling minority. But if we have a cryptographic currency that has no way for a minority to rise and act and stop such a panic, then the value one day will drop to zero. Why zero? When you trade dollars against the euro, for example, the exchange value represents the perception of the traders of the relative strength of those two economies. But when you trade a crypto money against dollars, the crypto money emerged from thin air. There is no reason for Bitcoin to be worth $500 or $1 million or $2 or 5 cents. There is absolutely no reason. It's like monopoly money. That if you really want to win Monopoly and you're not doing very, very well, you can offer regular dollars for the Monopoly money. But then you don't care about the game, you offer nothing. That is the fundamental weakness which a smart protocol, maybe in the future, will try to overcome. Crypto money has no intrinsic value. It came out of thin air, and to thin air it shall return. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. In a future session, we will put all these words in a mathematical model, like the modified drunken walk. And we will see that without the ability of abrupt intervention in an avalanche, it cannot be stopped, and it will go as low as zero. So this analysis, that crypto money that has zero tolerance for a minority control, that allows for the full network to resist any colluding minority, any sub-network of taking over the situation, will not be able to stop a spiral. And so we have to go back to the drawing board and come up with Bitcoin 2, Bitcoin 3. Should give up. The next session, we will take a deeper look into the mechanism behind Bitcoin 1. See you at this session.